Hello and welcome everyone for joining us for Work Your Business So It Works For You, how to stabilize and transform your business, and for taking time out of your day today to be part of our conversation. My name is Marian Weiler and I'm the owner and principal at Weiler International. We work with business owners and management teams primarily in real estate and construction industries when it comes to crisis management, but also during growth phases. Before we dive into the presentation, I want to take a moment and introduce myself. Without going into much detail, I want to take a moment and share a few things with you that allow you to know who I am and they put things into context. I was born and raised in Germany. I moved to the US in my early 20s to take on a role in marketing in California for a German company, which was the beginning of my almost 20 years living and working in different parts of the US. I lived in California for many years, in New York, in Connecticut, in Hawaii, and went back and forth to Germany a couple of times to work for companies there, and most recently teaching at the university in Mainz, which is near Frankfurt. After many years in leadership roles, and most recently as Senior Vice President Marketing for an affiliate of Sotheby's International Realty in New York with $3.5 billion in sales, I now run my own company advising executive teams and business owners in terms of business management and leadership development, particularly during times of growth and crisis, which seemingly are polar opposites. This presentation and the four-step program I developed were born out of a crisis where many business owners and executive teams find themselves struggling to crisis manage their finances and effectively manage their business. My hope is to give you some key takeaways of where you can start if you are faced with crisis in your business as well. I'm very grateful of my experience working with large and small companies, literally on a global scale, which allowed me to get a deep understanding of the challenges and opportunities businesses face in an ever-changing world. And I would like to share with you one recent example of a business I worked with to overcome increased competition, a weakening and shifting market, an internal disconnect amongst the functional teams, and outdated organizational processes. Based on the same four-step process we will go over here, we developed solutions that included making internal processes more efficient and cost-effective, attracting new customer groups, allowing for additional revenues, providing targeted value to stakeholders both internally and externally, building an organizational structure that aligns with the company needs, and leveraging partnerships and improving organizational effectiveness. So before we go into the four steps, the following points identify some of the most pressing challenges business owners and management teams have expressed and are faced with right now. And maybe you're dealing with some of these challenges yourself in your business. The first is your finances and your business have been negatively impacted or on a downward trend and you are unsure how to turn it around. Or you have an overwhelming number of expenses without the revenue to cover them. Or lastly, your revenue producing products or services have lost on importance and you are unsure how to pivot your offering. If you see yourself in either of these scenarios, the information we will cover will get you started thinking in the right direction and assist you to getting back on track. The goal here is that within each unique business and situation, we need to identify key areas to address, components to evaluate, and determine viable solutions to transition and ultimately transform your business. First, let's go into understanding why it is so important to proactively crisis manage your business. You might think it's obvious, but we probably all have had moments where our strategy was hope and we just wanted to wait it out or go back to what it was. Unfortunately, the reality is that rarely ever does either prove to be an effective strategy. There is power in proactively dealing with what we are faced with, however difficult it might seem. And when making a decision to take charge of the situation, we move forward in a constructive way. And there's never a better time to take inventory and face tough realities than when you realize your business is not sustainable or is suffering. It means you can get back on track and succeed. Sweeping problems under the rug won't improve your situation or business, but dealing with it proactively will. So, to give you an example from my own life to illustrate this point, I wanted to take you back a few years and share with you an experience that set the tone for my own financial health habits. I grew up in a middle-class family in Germany. My father was the breadwinner for our family of 4, and my mother was a stay-at-home mom. When I was a little girl, I watched my mom balancing the checkbook, and I was so intrigued by it that I decided to do the same. So ever since I had any money to myself, I've been religiously managing my finances and doing the same balancing for my own personal as well as professional finances. Especially during times of transition or crisis, for example, when I decided to pursue a graduate degree in the US, effectively managing my finances became the deciding factor whether or not I could make my dreams and my plans a reality. And I am sure you had dreams and plans when you started your business. Keep in mind here, I was a young adult who had decided to pursue her MBA in the States, where the cost of living and education was significantly higher than it was in my native country, Germany. When balancing my finances, it was a rigorous process because for a long time there was little room for any out of the norm expenses, and at times there was not even enough coming in to cover my expenses. Every time I balanced my finances, it became apparent at that point how much, if anything, was left at the end of the month. And you might agree with me that in life, there are often unexpected expenses or situations that might catch us off guard. And this is mutually applicable in business. When times are good, we don't have to watch finances so carefully. But if they're tight or we're in crisis, we have to take inventory and face tough realities. So why and how is having a budget and effectively budgeting critically important in your business? It gives you a vital understanding of what's coming in and going out so you can effectively manage your finances. Most importantly, it uncovers whether you're running a business that is sustainable in the long run and is prepared to deal with disruption and crisis. And not only that, but when trying to understand the why, consider this. Not having a budget creates volatility, which causes fear and anxiety. And I personally found that fear is a bad financial advisor. As soon as you make the decision to take charge of the situation, you move from a place of feeling like a victim to external circumstances to moving forward in a constructive way. So ask yourself, do you have a budget? And if so, what does it look like? Is it up to date? What are your financial health habits established over time? What needs to be dealt with, and what is your current situation that needs addressing? Keep in mind here, focus on what's in your control. The more you give to what you cannot control, the less energy you have for what you do control. Also, again, it will increase your anxiety when focused on what you can control because you're dwelling over the negative without being able to improve or change anything for the better. Which leads us to step number 2. Step number 2 is taking inventory of your finances. The main question here is, what's coming in and what's going out? Taking inventory of your finances allows you to determine the potential cost reduction necessary. When taking inventory of your finances, ask yourself, what are your revenue sources? Don't think simply in terms of sales or commissions. Do you have dividends, rental income, or any other revenue sources you can include? And if your revenue has declined significantly, review your assets and emergency funds, such as savings and credit lines, to determine what resources you can easily access, liquidate, or turn into a revenue stream. Also, not all expenses should be treated the same. Some are a must and critical to your success, while others have very little to no influence over your results and impact. So ask yourself, what are the expenses that you cannot eliminate or reduce? Expenses that are a must. On the other hand, what non-essential expenses can you cut easily, those that do little or nothing to make your business a success? We have put a check mark behind uncovering existing expenses, so now is the time to look for opportunities to create income or additional revenue, which leads me to step number 3, identifying solutions. The question is, how? Don't be afraid to ask for help and involve experts inside and outside of your organization for advice. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to find the right answer. There are a number of questions you can ask yourself to discover your unique reality and solutions to what you're faced with. Some key questions to ask yourself in this discovery phase for solutions are, do you have clients who have outstanding invoices to whom you can reach out and remind them of payment due? What services or products do you currently offer that can be transformed, expanded, or remarketed in order to meet a current need for your clients? Think remote, virtual, online, and digital. How are you currently delivering your services or products? Is there a way to adjust your delivery that would spike your revenue? Are your services and products as relevant as they have been in the past? Remember, getting clarity and facing reality, as tough as it might seem, is the first step to improvement, so be rigorously honest with yourself here. Now is also a time to get crystal clear on who your ideal client is. Why? By analyzing your ideal, most loyal clients, you have an opportunity to find the solutions to their biggest pain points and challenges. And this will help you not only build a raving fan base, but to create loyalty and a profitable repeat and referral business. So ask yourself, who are your ideal and most loyal clients? Treat these clients like gold. As I said before, they not only are your most critically important clients, they're also a source for referral business, the single best way to expand and grow your business cost effectively. Now that we've looked at what's coming in and what's going out and identified viable solutions for your business and clients, we can move to step number 4, which is a critical one on a long-term basis. So when we are looking at step number 4, optimizing and planning ahead to support future growth, here are the key takeaways. Committing to optimizing your business operations will not only allow you to run your business more cost effectively, you will also create bigger margins and gain more control, focus, and clarity. Now let's talk about optimizing and effectively planning ahead. To get started, let me take you back in time again. I shared with you that when I was a young adult, I decided to pursue my MBA in the States, where the cost of living and education was significantly higher than it was in Germany. But to make matters worse, as an international student, I was not permitted to work in order to support myself financially during the 2-year program. I knew I had to earn and save enough money in advance, which started my rigorous saving habits a year prior to relocating and entering graduate school. Juggling multiple jobs during my off-school hours, I saved up enough money to graduate and return to Germany in less than 2 years. Planning ahead saved me, and during the 2 years, I also became extremely good in leveraging and optimizing my resources. Here are the key lessons that I learned. Not everything is in our control, so be prepared for situations you can control. And remember, focus on what you can control. So often we focus on the things we have no influence over or dwell over what's happening to us. Neither helps in any way, and what you focus on expands. So make sure you focus on areas within your control and take time to appreciate what is going well or the progress that you make along the way. Another key lesson I learned is that when times improve or during good times, secure a security fund for worse times. You will be grateful you did when faced with less than ideal financial realities again. Most importantly, don't underestimate the peace of mind that comes from building up savings when times are good. It puts you in a position where you feel in control, which allows you to perform better overall. And finally, I also learned that there's almost always a way to better leverage what you have when you start getting creative with your resources and you focus on what's critically important. So when looking at optimizing and sustainably managing and planning for your business, go back to the foundation and analyze your unique strengths, points of differentiation, and use our resources so you can connect with what's truly critical and true for your unique situation. Ask yourself, why did you start your business? What were your dreams? What were your aspirations? What are your strengths? And what do you do exceptionally well? Consider opportunity cost. What if you were to focus on the areas of your strength and allow for help in other areas and focus on those initiatives that have the biggest impact on your business success? Also ask yourself, do the systems and processes you have in place meet current requirements within your industry or actively support growth? What is your current organizational structure and does it support your long-term goals? The bottom line is you want to laser focus your time, energy, and resources because time is money. And not only that, but you want to focus on what makes you stand out from your competition and find meaningful solutions for your ideal clients' problems, as we said before. Don't try to be everything to everyone. From there, you can look at your business setup and your operations and identify ways to get it more aligned with your goals, client expectations, industry standards, and your financial lookout. And then turn it into your overall plan and be intentional about it instead of reactionary. So we're coming to the end of this mini training, but you might wonder if there is a next level resource to help you work your way through and determine solutions to your most pressing problems based on your individual situation and needs. I alluded to the 4-step program we developed in the beginning of my presentation. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need to get a handle on your finances and rise to the next level, I would be honored to help you get your business back on track. You can find more information and enroll in the program on my website at www.weilerinternational.com. Thank you for your time today, and please reach out to me at marian@weilerinternational.com for feedback or anything I can do to support you in your own business transformation. Thank you.